This is Sybert signing into Red Alert 3 once again on Magmageddon for another Morning Magma 3v3. This is, of course, after the dual tournament. A bunch of these guys met up in the tournament's one lobby and played some matches. In the top left-hand corner, returning, this is the Blue Empire, KingKonG. In the middle left as the Yellow Empire, this is Berat. And in the south side, making up team number 1, All Empire, this is the Orange Xouth. On the top right-hand corner as the Red Allies, this is Edvin. In the middle as the Purple Allies, this is Stryderr. And in the bottom right-hand corner as the Green All Allies team, this is Zezo. Looks like he's going for some Riptide Javelin Trooper action. Always a good time to see that. So Triple Empire versus Triple Allies. And, you know, there's nothing more to be said. I think we can all agree. Just kidding. I mean, if you guys are looking to draw your balance conclusions from a 3v3, then that's a very interesting thing to do. We are going to see how this fares, though, as we do have a mixture of players, some that I know, some that I don't. But this is, you know, not necessarily some of the top-tier players in Red Alert 3. I won't pass any comments on who or what, but it looks like Berat going to be grabbing this oil derrick. A little bit annoying for Zezo, but of course Zezo already got the cash back for it. Looks like this dog is over here keeping an eye on this Riptide, and this, he's so ready. He's so ready. Xouth is so ready to run this Harvester away. And it looks like that MCV is going to be slowed down slightly. He's trying to buy as much time as he possibly can for his Javelin Troopers. It wasn't going to be enough time pretty much no matter what, but you have to hand it to Zezo, trying to get as much value as he possibly can, literally sacrificing a Riptide so that he could do it. While in the north, a Peacekeeper wall forms and KingKonG sends a sudden transport all the way to the top side of the map as Edvin does expand. KingKonG also going to be pushing in with a couple of Imperial Warriors, going to be going for a little bit of pressure. And looks like a Tengu or something did end up going down as this sudden transport. Is he actually going to be able to get anything done with it? It's 4 tank busters, going to be able to bust down 2 wall segments. Nice and easy, but there is going to be the passing in of that sudden transport, so he easily is able to get the kill on that Harvester. Very nicely done by KingKonG. Zezo going to be moving in with another Riptide, but it will get taken down. Well done by Berat, able to stop that from happening. Vindicators from Stryderr going to be getting some kills on these Empire infantry as the dogs clean up the rest. Nice bomb splitting there by Stryderr, going to be able to get maximum value from that Vindicator and actually forcing the sell-off. Holy cow, these tank busters from KingKonG have been way more effective than I would have expected. They were able to kill that refinery nice and easy, but Peacekeepers from Stryderr and Zezo going to be meeting up to kill this dojo of Berat as, well, this MCV, it's kind of in an awkward position. It's kind of a little bit far forward, all things considered. So Xouth doesn't have a main base. He used to have a main base. We can all remember a time when Xouth had a main base, and of course, MCVs can't crush stuff out on the water, which is why you see this dancing from Berat, why he's using his tsunami tanks in this particular way to try and stop this MCV from being able to go anywhere. Eventually, these will be pushed away by the dual multi-gunner turrets from Stryderr and Zezo, able to save Zezo's MCV for now as the Vindicators make continuous bombing runs. And actually, Berat going to be giving away all 3 of his Tengus. He's trying desperately. Oh my gosh. And the tsunami tank will get the kill almost certainly. There's the kill of that MCV. A great job there by Berat. He actually used his bomb tsunamis, bomb Tengus, to kill off that MCV. I thought there was nowhere near enough damage output from a dying Tengu to do that much damage to an MCV, but the MCV was low enough on health that it actually worked, and the tsunami tank was able to finish the job. Nice sell-off of one of those prospectors, going to get a little bit of cash back. KingKonG doing a good job playing the role of Demon in this game and just going for constant Harvester harassment as it does look like Zezo is going to be moving forward with his Peacekeepers, able to cut down this oil derrick, and I assume the Tsunami Tank is going to speed boost and crush these guys. There it goes, and two of them may escape. No, they don't, as they hilariously get run over. There's a nice snipe by Stryderr, a great move by him to snipe that on the move or refinery. I almost called it an oil derrick, which would be pretty amazing if you could move oil derricks, just take them back to your base to keep them safe. It looks like KingKonG will eventually kill Edvin's refinery, and KingKonG has not been letting up on Edvin. Poor guy Edvin has just had to fight Tengu after Tengu, tank buster after tank buster, and it looks like this airbase is going to take a little bit of damage there from that one Tengu, but in the south, Stryderr getting pushed back, Berat starting to move forward, Xouth is joining in with a couple of Imperial Warriors. Tsunami Tanks should be able to surround and destroy that one Guardian Tank, but they're actually going for the crushes on the Javelin Troopers. They don't want any of the Javelin Troopers to be joining in this fight. Two Guardian Tanks here, but this is enough DPS to work through these Guardian Tanks as a Cryo Shot fires off a nice transform there from Berat, going to be avoiding Stryderr's, I assume, Stryderr's Cryo Shot there. I guess there's no way to really tell who fired that off. One Harvester does go down. Vindicators once again being active for Stryderr, getting another kill under their belt. Another Vindicator from Edvin in the north does kill that Tsunami Tank, as KingKonG going to be moving forward. 4, no 5 Tsunami Tanks as a hit squad, going to be trying to take down this MCV, potentially take down this airfield, would be the real victory there, as that was not a killer move, as he does not need to break down the wall with that one Tengu. Javelin Troopers inside of Riptide going to be trying to avoid getting crushed, and oh my gosh, the dancing of that Tsunami Tank did almost nothing, was hardly able to get any of the crushes there as a Cryo Shot fires off on that power plant. And can Berat actually stop this from going down? The answer is no. The power plant goes down anyways. The MCV narrowly getting killed there. The Tsunami Tanks do a great job of avoiding the crush while getting crushes themselves, and Edvin isn't out of this game, but he is getting dangerously close to getting knocked out of this game. Tsunami Tanks going for the instant bombing run, and of course the honorable discharge. What? That guy just had a little herp-to-derp moment, as this airfield will eventually be saved. Woo! Barely. Just barely, as Edvin is able to save his MCV, but this is it for Edvin. He's got this one airfield since his MCV went down. I think I just said save his MCV, but no, it's over for Edvin. Unless he can hold off this many Tsunami Tanks, he doesn't have a barracks to build more Javelin Troopers. He doesn't have anything to really produce. He's just got some money, and that is about it. Go for the airfield, cut off the head of this snake, and in this case, another one will not grow in its place. The body will die as CW Edvin has been defeated. And it looks like Berat is barely going to be able to save this refinery. I can't believe that Stryderr walked away in that situation instead of just taking one more volley at it and killing it. Nicely done there by Stryderr. And it looks like a couple of Yari mini-subs going to be sharking around into the north, as I guess a couple of this stuff got handed over to Zezo. I don't know if Zezo is going to be able to make too much out of this. And now we're into a 3v2 situation. KingKonG continuing to put the pressure on Stryderr. And for now, that one Harvester is safe. But in the south, Sea-Wing's going to be taking some damage, putting some damage onto this command hub, as I guess it is a Skywing now that it's flying around. But Skywing is going to be trying to stop the expansion of Zezo. Zezo looking to power up into a 4 or 5, no, actually it would be a 6 refinery economy, which would give him a huge powerhouse kind of a play. And ooh, that Guardian Tank almost freezing itself accidentally there. The Guardian Tank's special ability coming in dramatically useful here, as another Cryo Blast fires off. It's going to be useful to guard away those Tsunami Tanks and stop KingKonG from pushing any farther forward, although KingKonG really needs to get his expansion game up and running. He's got 4 refineries, but he could easily have 6 or 7 if he really wanted to, and then he could really just pump out as many units as he possibly can, as 2 Tsunami Tanks do go down. KingKonG on the retreat. These cryocopters don't have an easy answer at the current moment. He needs a ton of Tengus in the sky to deal with the Apollos, to deal with the cryos, but right now he doesn't have anything, not even a striker on the ground to do something about it, and this one Tsunami Tank could be killed by his fallen brother, as no, the frozen Tsunami Tanks do get eliminated just through the normal means of an allied player. Eventually, that Prospector does get eliminated. The MCV expansion plan of Zezo is not meant to be, and it looks like Berat could be under some serious threat if he loses his MCV. And actually, these Tengus are coming in for the rescue, so he should be fine. Apollo from the south, from Zezo, is going to get dealt with, but this MCV is getting dangerously close to being frozen as 2 more Apollos from Stryderr. Oh my gosh, Stryderr might have bought himself enough time, bought Zezo enough time to actually get the freeze. He's going to be forcing the pack up. And no, 1 more Tango does show up, but another Apollo does show up from Stryderr. He's going to be forcing the sell-off by Berat. So this is a nice little move here by our allies team, as stepping forward, KingKonG kills an airfield, and now this tier 3 MCV has to pack up, so goodbye your expansion upgrades, as this war factory can no longer produce what it once had the opportunity to produce. Mirage tanks, Guardian tanks going to be stepping forward. They're going to have a little bit of time to cut through those walls as KingKonG cuts through the actual infrastructure of Zezo and Stryderr in the middle of the map. Strikers and Imperial Warriors, an unusual unit combo, going to be moving forward. And this refinery does stand the Athena cannons, could finish it off relatively quickly. Allies control the skies, and for now this striker is really the only thing on the ground to put any hurt into the skies, and that's a transform, but the Apollos are here to eat this up. Goodbye Tier 2 Mecha Bay. You may have cost a good bit of money to get up and running, but you don't exist anymore. 1 Mirage tank heavily damaged, 1 Guardian tank, and another Guardian heavily damaged. Berat has been defeated. He hands all of his stuff away to KingKonG, and this is actually now into a weird 2v2 on Magmageddon, as KingKonG desperately wants to make it a 2v1 Stryderr. He's got these forces cutting through now KingKonG's base, Berat's old base, and this Mirage tank will maybe go down. Yes, it does get eliminated finally there. That Imperial Warrior being a hero, and Xouth is now going to get his Skywings into the action as multi-gunner IFVs show up, but they don't do very much as they actually get eliminated really quickly by those Skywings. Oh my gosh, I had no idea that Skywings cut through IFVs that quickly. Edvin is going to have to cut and run as a big swell of, actually, no, never mind. If he transforms, he could deal with these pretty easily. He may end up losing these guys to an Apollo, but it's worth it to allow these Tsunami tanks to continue slicing through this base. And it looks like KingKonG starting to expand outward from his main base. Athena cannons getting some free kills here. Should be going for the Tsunami tanks instead of just the individual Imperial Warriors. And relatively untouched, Zezo, I don't know if this is going to be one of these opportunities to just power up. I know Yari mini-subs have been sharking around the map, so he probably can't keep too many water expansions up and running, but he's been relatively unharmed for this entire game. It's a shame he was not able to expand out to here. Xouth, on the other hand, has been rocking that 3 refinery life for a little while. Skywing's going to be keeping an eye on KingKonG's forces as Apollos clear out the last of the Chopper VXs, and KingKonG was never able to fulfill his destiny and wipe out this base for good. In fact, it's maybe even going to be rebuilt by Stryderr, as he's going to be firing off a nice Cryogeddon as he catches a couple of infantry, and actually Zezo stepping forward with a cryocopter, going to be able to catch 1 Tsunami tank, and there's nothing here really to punish this, as the Riptides are going to get the kill on the cryocopter, or on the frozen tank. This cryocopter has no match in the sky. Apollo's going to be pushing the Skywings away from this force, but this is just a big loop that he's made, as KingKonG is looking for an angle, any angle, to try and put the hurt on Stryderr. Stryderr doing a great job of forcing the defense and forcing the units to move around to the south side, whereas Mirage tanks could actually form a defense. KingKonG meeting up with Xouth's anti-air in the middle, or over this patch of water, and that's about as good as you can hope for when you don't have enough Tengus to contest the skies. Those cryocopters will reign supreme and allow the allies to do so much damage. I don't think 1 Cryogeddon, but with the cryocopters, this will be enough to freeze this MCV. And he just needs 1 second. He doesn't quite get it. He fires a little bit early with the Vindicator bombs. And of course, if they have to go home and refuel, then this attack is done. But that's it for KingKonG. No more expansions for him Unfortunate for him, he never got those extra refineries up and running. So what you see is what you get, especially if this Mecha Bay ends up going down. He just needs to kill off the Vindicators. He doesn't quite manage to do it. More from Xouth going to be showing up and trying to deal with the Apollos, but they're unable to. And this might be it for KingKonG. No, he's got a second Mecha Bay. He's totally fine. Just kidding. He's still at a big disadvantage, having lost one Mecha Bay, having lost his MCV, and not having a lot of air units to actually deal with the air force of Stryderr and Zezo. Now Stryderr going to be under a little bit of threat, could be losing one power plant, a second one might go down, but no, these guys need to pull on out of here. They might just want to hit and run, take down Harvesters, win in where they can. Infantry out here for KingKonG, going to be able to catch a Riptide, and it looks like a second Guardian tank could be under threat. No, these guys are just hanging around. They're waiting for someone to tell them what to do, as the Athena Cannon does massive damage from the sky, the laser firing down, and this Athena Cannon is about to go heroic, especially if he gets the kill on that Tsunami tank. Almost certainly that will be enough to award him that medal, and KingKonG has been defeated. It's all in the hands of Xouth, but can he 2v1 as things have switched back into the favor of the allies on the right side? Slow and steady wins the race. They turtled up, they got themselves rocking and rolling, and now it's just up to Xouth. Xouth now has a pretty fantastic economy, all things considered. But again, Apollos are just allowed to run rampant. There's no Sea Wings here to protect those Tengus, and it's just units lost, ranking up for Xouth. So now he's got a huge problem on his hands. He's got a huge economy under his belt, but does he have the production to really make it happen? Let's actually take a quick look at Xouth. He's got 31,000 credits. Oh my gosh. You just gotta that's so much money. 4,000, 3,000. So if Xouth produced just everything that he had, oh my gosh, he's gonna lose because he didn't spend enough money. He's got 2 Mecha Bays and only producing out of one of them. If he had spent some of that 30 grand a little bit earlier in this game, maybe on Strikers and Tengus, things would look differently. Magmageddon rather, firing off, and he's going to make his stand out at the sea. So, yeah, man, 30 grand, you can do a lot with 30 grand, especially earlier in this game. Heroic Athena Cannon going to be burning through this refinery, no problem, and I guess this is just going to be the slow march of the allied players from the right side of the map, eventually crushing Xouth's spirit and pushing him out of this game. Cryocopters flying around the map. They're going to have an easy time. I'm assuming there's some support showing up here. No, there's actually no support at all. So those cryocopters were completely exposed. The Apollos were nowhere nearby to be seen. And Xouth is losing so much economy. This is not good for him. He needs to get this back up and rolling. And seriously, like 2 Strikers or even like 2 Tsunami tanks to close the distance. You can take care of this guy. 4 cryocopters in the middle of the map. I don't know if Xouth is going to be able to do this. He's got a huge army, but if he doesn't actually engage with it, then the allied players, which for some reason the allied players haven't expanded to a bunch of these refineries. I'm not sure what's up with these guys. Like, why don't you like expanding? Why don't you like taking extra refineries? Looks like Stryderr is starting to get his eco back up and rolling, but there's a lot of Dolphins. They could keep at least a couple of refineries safe. I mean, yeah, there's Yari mini-subs, there's Tsunami tanks, there's Skywings, but you could get at least some value out of these expansions. Surely you could find a way to get some value from this expansion. Multi-gunner turret going to be going down for Stryderr. He's on the edge of the build radius for this Konyard that's way out there. And Xouth has lost, I don't know, 3 or 4 refineries over the course of the last couple of minutes. He's actually still got 3 oil derricks. So he's chugging along with these oil derricks. He's doing just fine in terms of that. This is a Shogun battleships, tsunami tanks, 2 tier 3 docks. So that's a lot of money just right there. Now, these Dolphins are going to be absolutely shredded by this force, especially if the Sea Wings decide to transform into the Sky Wings. They're going to stick around just in case there are cryocopters and Apollos in the sky. But for the current moment, there's nothing that the Allies can do to stop this much stuff out on the water. They can stop the stuff once it tries to step foot on the land. But Xouth, if he can kill this MCV, so if you kill the MCV, you cut off the Tier 2 or Tier 3, you can stop one of the Allied players from going aircraft carriers, you have a real shot. You have a real ability to just shell them from the land and to even things up. But if you let them go Tier 3, if you let them get aircraft carriers, EMP, he is Tier 3, so he could be actually producing aircraft carriers. He could be EMPing all of this, but it's going to be a double Cryogeddon. Not something you see very often. These Shogun battleships will be frozen. Where's the stuff? Here the Dolphins are going to be coming in for some massive veterancy bonuses as they get 2, 3, 4 of those Shogun battleships dead and waiting. There's no Yari mini-subs here for the defense. And that's one Dolphin does end up dying as these 2 naval yards are going to be under threat a little bit here. And no strikers on the land. And, ooh, these harvesters are all caught up on themselves, which is a little bit unfortunate. One mecha bay does end up getting frozen there. There's currently nothing there to actually deal with those cryocopters, but there's also nothing there to currently deal with these frozen mecha bays. So they're just sitting there frozen, not really doing anything. More Shogun battleships going to be moving out, and let's just take a quick look at... Okay, so he spent the money. Okay, there we go. As long as he spent the money, we don't have any problems. One mecha bay down, and a second mecha bay down. One refinery will be going down. Finally, these 2 guys are coordinating enough to start taking some stuff away from Xouth, and Xouth at the same time is doing the exact same thing. He's coordinating with himself, you know, in a 1v2 kind of situation. You got to get yourself on the same page as these refineries are finally being targeted. This entire base is about to be wasted by these Mirage tanks, by these IFVs. And this is so many Shogun battleships. Oh my gosh. And the Dolphins, they have no defense here, although if the Apollos show up and clear the skies, which is happening right now, these Dolphins will be able to potentially close the distance and get the Shogun battleships. But no, not enough Dolphins. So now the Sea Wings can just transform, clear out the Apollos, and then go back to killing Dolphins as all of the Apollos do go down. Xouth is starting to push everything back from the Allies, needs to clear out this last airfield just to make sure that they can't do anything about this. Vindicators and Cryocopters are an incredibly powerful combination, but now out on the water where Sea Wings can just do huge amounts of untold damage to the aircraft of Zezo. There's nothing he can do. Yeah, Stryderr can clear the land, but Mirage tanks don't do very well out at sea. These Dolphins not really doing anything to stop this army at the current moment. Refinery will go down, and Zezo, you know, he can't do anything to stop it without anything to really deal with these Shogun battleships. He's hoping Stryderr will help him out as this is so many Dolphins rushing forward. There's actually going to be a Chronosphere, a great move from Stryderr. He's going to be able to deal with the Shogun battleships that way, but just a couple of Skywings flying around with the Shogun battleships are going to be enough to push these Dolphins back. It'd be nice to have, I don't know, Yari mini-subs or something else, just so it's not always the Skywings doing the damage. Xouth pushing forward. He's spent his 30 grand, and it looks like it is money well spent. He has given up on trying to hold anything on the land. He has been basically completely pushed into water only, but if he can keep his water stuff safe using Skywings, pushing away the Cryocopters, then he could actually potentially win a kind of base racy scenario. On Magmageddon, I don't think there's anywhere on land that Navy artillery cannot reach. Another Cryocopter, no another Apollo going down. The Cryocopter does barely escape as Sea Wings are going to be pushing that aircraft back. Now, we could see some Athena cannons. We could see some Shogun battleships. How many Dolphins do they kill when they charge forward like that? And this is so many Dolphins I think over time the Sky Wings will just wear them, or the Sea Wings will wear them down as they clear out the Apollos as well. And the Dolphins trying to get a couple more kills. The Cryogeddons aren't really working out for our allied team. This Athena cannon, has she just been hanging out here killing walls this entire time? I don't know why she's not trying to push down some of these buildings. Like, kill that Tier 3 naval yard. And it doesn't stop the Shogun battleships that are already out on the field, that are already killing all of your stuff, which is a bit unfortunate for Stryderr and Zezo. But Xouth actually calling in a tank buster surprise. I don't want to say that he's done it. I wonder if he can, yeah, he can hit that barracks and that power plant. He could actually be putting a little bit more hurt onto these allied players than he currently is. Oh my gosh, that was an amazing rush of the Shogun battleship. I don't actually remember what it's called. It's just called ramming speed. So an amazing ram of those Dolphins. Zezo and Stryderr, they're both still in this game, but they're only on land, and they've completely given up all hope of the sea to Xouth. So still expanding, setting up more and more refineries, and it looks like Final Squadron has been called in. Killing the power plants is a really good move when you've got 23 seconds left on the chronosphere, and then you want to start splitting up. And actually, yeah, he's going for the power plants, exactly that. He wants to keep this chronosphere offline. And I guess it's not actually offline, but it should be in a couple of seconds here, as surely these power plants will send it into a low power mode. Oh my gosh, 3 seconds left. He barely manages to take it offline. And I assume, well, I mean, even if you grab a couple of these, it's not going to stop anything. This one Peacekeeper clears out this entire tank buster. Surprise. And, oh, the Harvester goes down, so the economy cut down a little bit more. And I love how they curve over the mountains. Just like in real life, guys. They just go through the mountains. Wow, this command hub got shrunk down, and he's trying to set up some kind of base over here using that build radius, the huge build radius of the MCV for allies to try and turret push the water expansions of Xouth. There is a huge Cryogeddon going to be firing off. Multi-gunner turret's going to be taking down the nanotech mainframe. And Xouth has done an absolutely amazing job at making this one a close game, but it could be that the allies have finally wised up. They've finally figured out exactly what they need to win this game, and they have not won it yet. That is for certain. But they're starting to shrink the net. They're starting to shrink the area. How have they let these 2 oil derricks stand for so long? All 3 of these oil derricks. How have they let them stand for so long? Like, Xouth has gotten so much money out of those 3 oil derricks and these 2 refineries. I mean, it's really phenomenal for him. And yeah, he's cleared out pretty much everything else. Needs to make sure that he sweeps up this command hub. Needs to make sure that he doesn't give the allies any opportunity to hit back. Sea Wing's going to be trying to keep these Apollos from doing too much else. And Xouth, I guess he just, yeah, he splits his Shoguns. He keeps some of them back here, you know, starts picking away at the MCV. It's down to about 3/4 health, so it's not under direct threat right now. But power plants, you don't need power plants to kill stuff with Shogun battleships, so Xouth could definitely do this. Stryderr is trying to warn his allies. One Harvester, he's getting a scout off for Xouth. He's going to see what exactly is going on. And as long as you keep a couple of Sea Wings with all of this stuff, your Shogun battleships can just sort of slowly work away at everything else. Gonna finally get the kill on that Prospector. Lots of Sea Wings back here. Just need a couple of Shogun battleships. And really, you got to shut down the economy of these guys, because this that ore mine's depleted, but this one still has 2,700 left. And that Harvester is a little bit lazy. He's on a break, and he is not working. Poor Stryderr. He doesn't even know that this guy isn't working. He thinks that he's on more economy than he actually is. And of course, as this stuff starts to get depleted, you start to get into a very weird low econ situation. But this one Cryocopter, I'm not sure what his deal is. Maybe going for the freeze of that oil derrick? No? Could be going for the freeze of the Shogun battleship, like trying to shrink it down and then freeze it. Ooh, that Athena cannon gets wiped out, and the Shogun battleship able to reign supreme. It looks like Xouth has it now figured out, so he hasn't given the allied players the distance that they needed, and yeah, now that he's split up his shoguns into 3 or 4 battle groups, is not... Oh my gosh, he's hidden a naval yard in the corner. So a little backup plan in case things go really far south, in case they end up messing up even more. But MCV's on the move. Going to be going for the kill of that refinery. Won't actually get it with the final squadron, but it'll weaken it so his Shogun battleships can cut through it a little bit more quickly. Oh my gosh, this is so many dolphins. So this is what the allied players have been working on. 4 naval yards. And this is a lot. This is not a lot of hydrofoils, so it would be nice if there were a couple of Yaris, but it's possible this will still work out. Okay, Shogun battleships in the north are going to be extremely vulnerable in a couple of seconds. This could be in a kind of a base racy scenario. Black Hole armor is going to give that assault destroyer a little bit more longevity. And it looks like, ooh, he spotted the naval yard, so he's going to be able to take that down. Stryderr and Zezo are looking to make it happen. Black Hole armor is a powerful thing, and the hydrofoils are going to be stopping these Skywings from doing anything else. But it looks like the Shogun battleships are in range, and if they can take down the assault destroyer, the hydrofoils become a lot more weak. 1 refinery down, a second one does still stand. It's not actually doing anything. Poor Zezo, he doesn't actually realize that his refineries aren't doing anything. Killing these power plants is also going to be a really helpful thing for him, and a Chrono Rift going to be stopping these these Shogun battleships from actually taking part in this battle. So it's just up to this switching of the Black Hole armor and the hydrofoils trying to stay close to the assault destroyers, who can take so much punishment from these Skywings as a couple of these Shogun battleships do back out of that Cryogeddon, and these assault destroyers getting dangerously low on HP. The hydrofoils doing so much damage, and they finally cleared the skies. I think the last Skywing rains down onto the Earth, but the Shogun battleships still stand strong. The Dolphins unable to make it happen, and the re-expansion of the allied players finally clearing up that tank buster surprise, but they're being pushed away from the northern side of the map. This is so many Skywings, so many Sea Wings, so, well, actually not that many Shogun battleships, but still enough Shogun battleships to kill these assault destroyer. The Black Hole armor allows them to survive so much longer against the direct hits, but the no Black Hole armor allows them to escape when the shots hit behind them like that. Power plants are now going to be targeted, and power plant's not the biggest target, but actually in this low eco of a game, this late, power plants are a big deal. They slow down the production, they stop your opponent from being able to build more important stuff if they have to rebuild power plants. So it's a legitimate strategy for Xouth to be going for those power plants at the current moment. Airfield here, but it's not doing a whole lot. There's the sell-off of 2 of the naval yards. The third one could be going down. He's going to step forward, and I mean, those hydrofoils could definitely stop the Shogun battleships from being able to fire. There's almost enough for 1 hydrofoil per Shogun battleship, and then, well, you'd have to deal with the Sea Wings if that actually did happen. Naval yard is going to go down. It looks like 1 Shogun battleship over here is going to start putting the pressure on this expansion, on that MCV potentially. And big Cryogeddon firing off. Naval yard just got built, and there's the lockdown of those units, which means this MCV, it's frozen. There's the sell-off of the MCV before the precision bomber can do its thing, but the Chrono Rift actually kind of saving that that Imperial Docks, saving it from actually getting eliminated or being frozen down, as another Imperial Docks does actually go down. No, it does barely manage to survive. And as long as Xouth has these 2 refineries and all 3 of his oil derricks, he will eventually be able to get enough income, get enough economy to be able to rebuild his MCV. Zezo and Stryderr are both still in it, but now it's actually the Shogun battleships that are shrinking the net around these allied players. And I didn't think Xouth was going to be able to do it. I thought the allies were going to be able to pull something together. They were going to be able to force his hand one way or the other, but they have actually been unable to. Everything that they tried hasn't quite worked, and I'm not exactly sure what their income situation has been throughout the entirety of this game, but it could just be that they didn't have the liquid cash to make it happen. I mean, cryocopters are very good, but they do cost 1,600 credits, and the more you build, the more of other stuff you're not making, so it does add up over time. Shogun battleships slowly chipping away at everything here for our allied players. Stryderr and Zezo, they're pulling it together with a sentry bomber, so dropping 2 grand on a sentry bomber to try and make some big plays happen. If he could get 2 sentry bombers, well, the MCV's already back up. So he could have shut down. Ooh, he's actually going to get the kill on this fully heroic Shogun battleship, so very nice. And of course, that's what happens when Xouth gets sloppy, when Xouth doesn't keep his Shogun battleships protected from the skies with the Sea Wings. He does leave opportunities like that to potentially happen. This oil arc eventually will go down, like 36 minutes into this game. It's finally going to go down. These 2 ore mines in the south, 15 and 18,000 between them, so that's a lot of cash if you can secure them. Not saying that any player really is going to have an opportunity to secure them, whereas this other stuff, well, some of this other stuff has been depleted, although this is probably relatively safe to take for Xouth. Ooh, Sea Wings, are they going to get a free couple of cryocopters? The answer is yes. They're going to get 1 free cryocopter. And again, in a low econ game, 1,600 credits. It makes a difference. It adds up. Allied players are really going to try and pull something out of their hat. I don't think that was it. I mean, yes, Precision Bomber is pretty good. It's not that good, though. Not good enough to kill an MCV like that. Spending the cash to tier 2 your Imperial docks and then potentially tier 3 it is, it's a long time to wait. I can't believe these Peacekeepers are finally getting around to killing these oil derricks. That does make me very happy. A big Cryogeddon going to be forcing the sell-off of that refinery. And these refineries are not hugely integral, but they are definitely important as Xouth is going to need income. This Apollo will eventually kill that Sea Wing, Sky Wing. But he killed the Peacekeeper, so for now, the oil derrick is safe. And there's the other Cryogeddon firing off while this Cryocopter does the rest of the work. If he gets the freeze on the Conyard, no, he didn't get the freeze. Oh, moments later, but he's going to try and sacrifice himself. Will he get it? No. It's the RNG that favors Xouth in this game. Cryocopters. Sentry bombers make a huge play, and they get the naval yard, so that's a big deal for Xouth, cutting off the production there. And that guy's a little bit freaky. He's actually died, I'm guessing, but yeah, he's got bugged a little bit there. His animation was stuck, so he got shot up, but he just didn't know it yet. 1 Vindicator does go down. I believe that was the heroic Vindicator, so very sad there for Stryderr, as whichever one of them had that Vindicator. But Mirage tanks now up and running. That's one nice thing about the Allied MCV carrying your tech with you, is you can get Mirage tanks back up and running. Are there any Shoguns here to actually push this away? The MCV is now chrono rifted, and these missiles are frozen in midair. I don't actually know what happens when they unfreeze, but we'll have to find out as the Mirage tanks are going to start working away at that northern expansion. And they do actually kind of finish their job there. The Sentry Bombers finish off the MCV, and Xouth, he's not pushed out of the game yet, but he is darn close. The Allied players have gotten it together. They've eliminated all of the production facilities. No, just kidding. They haven't eliminated all of the production facilities. 2 of them do manage to escape, and the heroic Harvester going to be going for the kill of that MCV while Shogun battleships are trying to find an angle. That is one thing, is the distance by water is much longer than the distance by ground. Xouth is going to try and run his Harvester into the Harvester of his opponent, but it doesn't quite work out there, as that MCV doesn't need to get the kill on that Harvester. The Mirage tanks will break it to pieces. I have thought that this game was going a couple of different directions, like 4 different times, and I have no idea at this point who is going to be able to do it, because I thought Xouth was going to be able to seal it up with the many, many Shogun battleships that he has, but Oh my gosh, he's most of the way done with another MCV. Like, obviously it's not a lot of money, but 1 ore collector and 2 oil derricks have been making a big difference for him. 1 Shogun battleship. If he can kill the airfield, if he can stop these sentry bombers from being able to refuel, that could give him a little bit of longevity. And it looks like the answer is they're going to build an airfield somewhere else. Yeah, he's going to try and pack up and build an airfield up in the north. So these Shogun battleships, if they identify this is like target number 1. I think the MCV is back out. Yes, it is. He's got another refinery. He's got enough cash for a refinery. Maybe taking this guy completely untouched in the south there. Kill the refinery of your opponent. All right, Xouth, can you do it? He doesn't know the airfield is there. 1 heroic sentry bomber, 1 single vet. Apollo on the hunt. Sea Wings looking out. And this cryocopter is going for the... Oh, he doesn't realize. He's just going for the naval yard, which is good, but it may not be all that you need. Sentry bombers, they're on the lurk. There's the sell-off, or no, the precision bomber did get it. This one... Oh, don't stop. Don't stay over the water. There we go. He takes out the airfield. Great move there by Xouth. And, I don't think he got the MCV. No, the MCV's out on the water, but it goes down! So that's it for Stryderr. Although, he can land at Zezo's airfield, right? Yeah, if Zezo builds an airfield, I'm pretty sure the sentry bombers can land there, which will keep them alive. These heroic tank busters going to be forcing the sell-off of that one refinery, and it looks like they will actually kill the Peacekeeper as well, which is good for Xouth. There we go. Zezo and Stryderr working together in the most literal sense possible. They were able to find a home for those sentry bombers, as Xouth has split his Shogun battleships in every single direction, and this has just turned into such a weird game that I would not have expected based on how heavy and action-packed this started. Okay, Stryderr says, Zezo, you are our only hope. You are the best chance to win this 1v1, and actually hands over the sentry bombers as well, which is phenomenal for Zezo. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to do it, but I also don't know if Xouth is going to be able to do it, so either way, it looks like these sentry bombers are actually going to fly. No, they're not going to fly directly over. They're going to fly very close. They do see them. There's a little bit of a bombing run, and they are going to get one of them for sure. The second one, it looks like, will escape. Can he head north? It looks like the sentry bomber will stay alive for the current moment. Not a lot of refineries left up and running, although Xouth does have just enough to keep himself alive. And actually, again, 27,000 credits between those 2 refineries. And actually grabbing the oil derrick, Zezo being very funny, but Xouth, he knows not to let that stand. So Xouth has, once again, I think the only oil derrick left on the map. The icons are so tiny with the super sampling like this. And these 2 Peacekeepers, I assume, will be able to cut through these... Yeah, they'll be able to cut through the tank busters. Uh-oh, cryocopters on the hunt. They know there's a Shogun battleship over there. 3 cryocopters and perhaps a precision bomber will give the opportunity to shut... No, actually, he's going to bring a Vindicator. So he's going to do it the good way with a Vindicator as he gets the freeze on that Shogun battleship. And, Xouth, he's got 4 Sea Wings parked under that multi-gunner turret. He's got himself 3 fresh expansions, 1 depleted refinery, and he is doing okay. On the economy front, he is doing all right. The Shogun battleships have mostly been beaten back. It looks like there's 4? 5. 5 Shogun battleships still out on this map. He's going to try for another mecha bay. He's going to desperately try and break the allied stranglehold, but it's 3 Apollos. And actually, the Apollos are going to get some damage as one of them doesn't go down. The Vindicator goes down instead. The Apollos do manage to survive. And this is a heroic multi-gunner IFV, not something you see very often, as a heroic Mirage tank also steps out, and that precision bomber will get the kill on the refinery, and this base has been spotted. The Shogun battleships, I assume, are going to be running defense. There are 3 of them here. 2, even 3 harvesters could be pulled, or a 4th harvester could be pulled off the line to defend, to fight these forces as much as they can. And you don't want to hold still when a Shogun battleship has your calling card. But this refinery almost certainly will go down. I think the Mirage tanks will have to sacrifice themselves to get the kill, though, because if they stand still long enough to kill it, they might find themselves dead through other means. And nope, the Shogun battleships do get one of them, but the second one does manage to escape for the current moment. Throws up a Mirage field, because, and then he's gonna go down there. There's another volley from a Shogun battleship will finish him off. Doesn't actually get it, but the Sea Wings, the Sky Wings rather, do get the kill. One lonely tank buster. Now he's a dead lonely tank buster. But again, Xouth, he's got 2 refineries up and running at proper ore mines, and he's got a 3rd one about to come up, so losing 2 ore refineries isn't a big deal to him. Sentry bombers finally clean up that oil derrick. Earns himself a heroic status. Actually, I think that guy was already heroic, so. Hoo boy, Zezo rocking the dual airfield. He's kept his MCV alive for so long, whereas Xouth has built like 10 MCVs over the course of this game. And again, if he could get 1,000 Tengus, he could win this. But I mean, no, really. He does need, I don't know how many to take on 2 Apollos. I thought it was 3 Apollos, but 2 Apollos, he needs, I don't know, like 4 or 5 Tengus. Maybe with point defense, it'll happen a little bit sooner. But to really guarantee the victory in the sky, he needs a couple of, ooh, he doesn't actually have anything to defend that Shogun battleship, so things are getting dicey as the Sentry Bombers do split up the bombing run. They're going to get the refinery for sure. Nicely done there by Zezo, but he does lose 1 Sentry Bomber for it, so trading 2 grand for 2.5 is a little bit dangerous, and he loses the 2nd Sentry Bomber. Oh, too bad for Zezo. Oh, but he does have this expansion up here. 2,000, 5,000. So those are both healthy refineries, and he's going to finally kill this ore refinery once again for, I don't know, the 6th time in this game. It's going down. 3 Apollos in the sky. They're going to be spotting this mecha bay. And the other thing about Apollos is, of course, they do have that ammo. So if you can force them to waste their ammo, ooh, Chrono Rift, going to be holding all of this stuff in place and allowing something to escape for the current moment. This multi-gunner turret will go down, and there are 2 Shogun battleships, soon to be 3 Shogun battleships here. Once again, a mecha bay does go down, and there's just not enough here for him to really push forward. So unfortunately for Xouth, he wasn't able to get the Tengus necessary to call this an easy win. Needs to turn that Shogun battleship away. He'll escape the Cryogeddon very nicely. And for the current moment, the Sentry Bombers are back up and running. 3 Sentry Bombers. So that's 6 grand. That's a lot of money that he's been able to put somewhere. 3 Apollos and a Vindicator and 3 Sentry Bombers. So he does definitely need those 2 airfields. He can't really get by with just the 1, or he's going to be doing a lot of trading places between those airfields. If he can kill this other airfield, this would be really great for Xouth. He's got 6 Tengus in the sky, which means he can contend with these Apollos, and he can cut down the Cryocopters finally. A couple of Sea Wings flying through the sky, and his final squadron called down on that airfield. The Apollos have nowhere to land, so there's the transform. They're going to go for the kill of that refinery, I assume. Yeah, they're going to go for the kill of the refinery. And these Skywings are sacrificing themselves unnecessarily, but he's trying to draw the Apollos over top of those other those Sea Wings. A Ski Wing is what happens in the snow. A Ski Wing, a Sea Wing, and a Sky Wing. That's what happens in the snow. There's an airfield up north, so he can put some, he can refuel a little bit here, and it looks like these Shogun battleships may be the next target. No, these Sentry Bombers are going somewhere else. They're going over to the left side of the map. All these little cracks and crevices do make it difficult for Navy units to get everywhere that they need to go on this map. Xouth now pushing north. He has pushed every bit of allies off of this map with the exception of this northeast pocket. Skywing's doing a little bit of damage. Apollo's going to be showing up, but they're the transform of the tankers. You didn't need to transform everything. You could have fought those Apollos. If they're hanging out over the Sea Wings, you can kill them. Leaving 1 or 2 Shogun battleships and then, I don't know, 3 or 4 Sea Wings would be a good idea. Killing 1 refinery is nice, but it's not a game-winning move when there are other refineries going up, and I guess a little bit of damage on these sentry bombers as they are heading home. Refinery still up and running for Zezo, so it's like Tier 3 Air versus Tier 3 Navy, but of course the Tier 3 Navy was... Oh! The airfield is gone! No. Okay, the airfield's over there, so they should be able to return home to that airfield. I think they're taking a little bit of damage from the fact that they don't have a place to land, but I'm guessing they're going to just hang out over here. They should be fine. Skywing is going to slowly chip away at this barracks, and these tank busters are going to get a kill on that harvester. Very nicely done there for Xouth. Zezo has done an incredible job of keeping things going, of staying alive. And oh my gosh, this spy grabs those Sea Wings. No, he didn't. When they're underwater, it doesn't count. I guess. Wow, that was phenomenally bad for Zezo. I thought that would have worked as well. Chrono Rift going to be freezing these units in place. It will save this airfield for the moment, but Zezo needs a plan beyond this, and these 2 Apollos going to be heading back up north. The airfield will now go down to the Tengus, as the Tengus do transform and get on out of there. And there the airfield does go down, so... Another airfield is now up and running. Too many aircraft for 1 airfield, though, so he's going to have to cycle off what is there and what is not. Sea Wings get another kill, so now there are less spots for the aircraft. You need less spots, rather. And let's just fast forward a little bit here as sentry bombers take a bombing run. Oh my gosh, he misses! Another whiff of that spy. That was almost amazing from Zezo, so now I get why he was going for that that boot camp in that position. Shogun battleships versus sentry bombers. Sea Wings here to push these guys away. That's a real peacekeeper, it's not a spy. 2 airfields, he managed to get that up and running, but one of them will end up going down to the Shogun battleships. The cryocopters looming around the map, and at this point, should... Oh my gosh, he has 2 grand, whereas Zezo has 13,000 credits. So no way to really spend them at this point. MCV trying to run away. The Apollo taking enough damage to get very low on HP, but not enough damage to actually die. And this 1 cryocopter will be saved by his cryocopter friend, as this Tier 3 MCV... Airfield will go down. The Apollo goes heroic, but he himself will end up dying, passing his veterancy status along to that Sea Wing. Now the Sea Wings can start chipping away at those power plants, and this has been an incredibly drawn-out game for these guys. Sentry Bomber making 1 last bombing run, but I think this is going to be the last holdout of the Allies. I don't even know. It might be worth it to build a second mecha bay. I know I'm crazy, guys, but build a second mecha bay just to produce an unbelievable amount of mecha Tengus. All right, final squadron going to be called down on this airfield, and even if there were all of the Allied support powers in the world, you can't hit every single spot on the map at the same time. Magmageddon is big, but it is not that big as the airfield does go down. Now these units are going to have nowhere to land, and so they're going to take that bit of damage over time. A little bit of chip damage here and there. Zezo, I guess, still has a bunch of money. Oh my gosh, he's got a heroic Mirage tank running around the map, doing some damage, killing harvesters, killing refineries. Going to be able to clear that expansion out, and these Apollos finally do go down. This expansion will get eliminated, and one Apollo over onto the right side of the map. Power plant here, and I think that's it. The MCV is gone. This Mirage tank is the last hope, and that is going to be it, as this is going to be the last structure going down, and Zezo has been defeated. Xouth pulls it out in the end. Holy cow. I did not realize, number one, this game was going to go that long. These icons are hilariously big when you super sample like this. I did not think it was going to go that way. I thought KingKonG in the, like, I don't know, first 20 minutes way back then. Do you remember that? I thought he was going to just, like, crush through the allies, but then he got turned around, and Stryderr, Zezo, and Edvin were able to really push back. I guess not Edvin, because he got knocked out a little bit earlier. But they were able to push back and stretched this out way longer than I ever thought it was going to be. So a huge gimme to Xouth. He was playing as Q in this game, so great job by him. Let's take a quick look, and yikes, 54,000 compared to 261,000 of Xouth. So a good job to Xouth pulling it together, and Zezo himself getting 248,000 credits, and Stryderr 219,000, which, wow, when you add that up, that's 200,000 by two of their players. But that will do it for this game. Thank you all very much for watching some Morning Magma Madness. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you all for watching, and this is Sybert signing out.